Shalom, Habari, Mambo, greetings. How are you? This is Wanda. This is Diaspora Connect. Thank you so much for tuning in. Welcome to my channel. I want to thank, first of all, my faithful subscribers, the ones who've been rocking with me from day one. Thank you for your subscription and thank you for tuning in. And I want to thank my new subscribers and welcome you to my channel. If you don't know, my name is Wanda. I am born and raised in America. I left America in 2020 and I um, moved to Tanzania back in 2020, July actually of 2020. And I have been here for going on 4.5 years now. And so, as women, we always got to mess with our hair, y'all. But anyway, sorry about that. Distracted. But so yeah, thank you to all my faithful subscribers. Thank you to my new subscribers. I want to say welcome in the round. Yeah, I decided to do a video today, and I position myself in a different area, a location in my place. So I wanted to give a different background instead of just the blank window, nothing in the background. So yeah, but anyway, I wanted to do this video, and I wanted to talk about this channel is all about repatriating, doing business for diaspora, specifically African diaspora, wanting to leave the Western countries or the West and come back to Mama Africa. When I say come back, because we are originally from Africa. Our lineage, our DNA comes from Africa. All Africans come from Africa, and for that matter, they say everybody does. All humanity do, but I'm specifically talking about the Afro descendants who were dispersed during the transatlantic slave trade. We're coming back, which that's why I say repatriate back, meaning we're from here. We originate from here. So we're coming back home to Mama Africa. We're being called out of the Western countries and coming back home. And also the diaspora in the African countries. We're the sixth region African diaspora. We are the historic ones, but there are diaspora who are from the different African countries that have been went to visit, do work and all that, go to school in these Western countries. They need to come back to. We all need to come back to Africa. It's going to be the safest place. I know all these colonizers trying to recolonize Africa, but it's not going to work. So don't be worried about that. But anyway, I want to do this video, and the title of the video is How to Deal with Rejection from Local Africans. That's the title of this video. How to deal with rejection from local Africans. So if you are someone that was wanted to come back to Africa, born in the West, and you come back, especially if you're in Tanzania, but this is all across Africa, you may experience a little bit of like pushback. You may experience a little bit of rejection, basically, from locals saying that, you are Mzungu, white people, you are Obruni in Ghana, white people. They may say that because you were born and raised in the West, you speak English, you don't speak an African language. And so sometimes they may, consider you these things. So I want to share with you how to handle that, how to handle rejection from locals. Um, I have been here in Tanzania and I have experienced that as well. Um, but at first, it used to offend me when I didn't get that much here in Tanzania. I didn't get it much, but every now and then I would get it. And it's funny because the only time that they would say it is when they knew that I was from the West. So if I didn't tell them that I was from the West, then they wouldn't call me that because they wouldn't know. They would think a lot of them think I'm from Southern Africa, or they say, I look like I'm from South Africa or Southern Africa. And then they say, some people thought I was from Tanzania also, because you have some light skinned Africans here in Tanzania as well, like Kilimanjaro area and all over Tanzania have they call it white skin. But I had to tell them it's not white skin, it's light skin. White skin is Mzungu, that's white skin. this skin is light skin. It's not white skin. So white, they say white tea skin. It's not white. It's light. So it's a difference. So, but yeah, I did experience it, and the way you have to handle it is in a mature way, basically. So, and and as also like for me, I did address it. If I was ever called Mzungu, I would say, Hapana, Hapana, no, no, I'm African. So I'll make sure whoever say it, I'll look at them and say, no Mzungu, no Mzungu, African. And they start laughing when I say that. But I'm serious. I confront everybody. And I say it in a nice way. Like if it's a brother there, I say, Kaka. No, I say, no, Hapana, Kaka, Hapana, Mzungu. No, I'm African. No, I'm African. So, yeah. So yeah, I would just have to tell them. And then in terms of the mindset, you just have to instead of like getting offended or getting having it mess your day up, uh, just develop a mindset like I do. Um, I'm here because I had the money to come here. I'm here because I choose to be here, because I have a passport and I can travel wherever I want to. Um, the U.S. passport is very powerful in that you can travel everywhere on that passport. So that is a blessing that we do have the opportunity to be able to travel. Um, so that being the case, you just have that mindset like you think what you want to think. I'm here for a purpose. Like if you remember what you're here for, you remember your purpose for being here, then what people say does not deter you from moving forward and accomplishing what you were called to come here to do. Same thing in the West. We're born and raised in America, but yet there are sundown towns, there are places we can't go, we won't feel safe, we can get hurt, murdered, whatever, in our own in our own country. So when you're there, it doesn't matter if you run into racists and they try to tell you're not worthy or try to mistreat you or slight you or pay you less. Whatever they try to do, it doesn't deter you or stop you from accomplishing what you have set out to accomplish. That's the same thing in Africa. It doesn't matter what people say. It doesn't matter how people feel because you're not here. You didn't come all the way over here to the continent, all the way across the water to the continent to be hurt because somebody called you a name. Like we got to be mature about that. It's a name, and I know for some people names hurt, and names can hurt because your words are powerful. So names can hurt, but you use your power to you know return it to sender. Is this wicked? They speak in curses. You got to break those words and return it back to them upon their own head. But when it comes to name calling and all that, because we have experience with that from where we're from, we shouldn't get so devastated. We shouldn't get so devastated and thrown off our purpose and mission because somebody said something to you. They call you Mzungu, they call you Mzungu. You can say something and correct them if you want to. If you don't want to, don't say nothing and just move on. It's not, yeah, it's not. And then also, if you notice that you get overcharged and that's another form of rejection because the title of this video is how to handle rejection from locals. That's a form of rejection when you get overcharged for stuff because they're showing you that you're not from there, so we're gonna charge you. So they may not call you a name, but by them overcharging you, that's a form of rejection. They're gonna charge you the higher price. So even in that instance, I have experience with the overcharging. So they may not call me uh, Mzungu, call me white person, but they'll overcharge me. That's the same thing, or a foreigner. Sometimes Mzungu is foreigner. You speak English, but it's still offensive to us as Black people, and also being overcharged by our own people. We have to get past that in our minds. They look just like us. We're the same people, but they're overcharging us. So don't let it devastate you. Don't. forget what your assignment is. If you were called to come here, if you were called to leave the West and come to the continent, wherever you decide to go, remember you have a purpose and a mission for being here or for being there, wherever you decide to go. So don't let someone's words or someone's attitude control you in such a way where you get off your mission, your purpose, and your assignment for being here. So if that's the case, I would be probably left a long time ago. Like all my life, I've been called names. I mean, even in our own community growing up, kids are cruel. They call me names. I was real skinny, skinny mini, you know, all kind of names. And so I'm used to being called names. It hurts, but it don't. You know what I'm saying? I'm more, I could, I could kind of brush that stuff off. I don't internalize it, I would say. When people call me names or say something or overcharge me, yes, I get offended because I'm like, why are you doing this? But then at the same time, it's not going to devastate me because I always look for ways that I can show these people because I feel like that's a teaching moment. So if you come to the continent and you are called Obruni, that's white, or you're called Mzungu, uh, in East Africa somewhere, or even if you're overcharged or whatever, and you're treated differently, that's a teaching opportunity. You can actually talk to them and explain to them um, how you feel and why you're not happy with it. So if you get a higher price, it's your money. So you do have a form of control. Um, you can say, you can say to them in, Swahili, or if they speak English, you can say, well, no, Kaka, this is not Miatano. You can say what the price that you think it should be. And if you can look at them and if you say that, they'll know that you know the real price. So that at that point, they can decide, okay, I'll give it to you at that price, or no, I'm not giving it to you. And then at that point, you can say, okay, Hapana Asante. No, thank you. That's Hapana Asante. I've said that so many times because when I know the price, I've been here long enough. I know a lot of the prices, and so when they try to overcharge me, I'll say the real price, and if they say okay, or if they say no, and I say, well, no, thank you, no, thank you. And sometimes they'll even say, okay, 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 how much? And then you can get it. So that's a part of being able to negotiate, but don't take everything so personal. Don't take everything so personal. You do have to consider the fact that you're in a foreign. They consider us foreigners. So based on the passport. So I would say you're in the foreign land, which we know Africa is our home too. We're the prodigal son coming back home to mama. So when that happens, you're going to experience a lot of things that you're not used to, but you got to weigh the pros and the cons because that's why on this channel I try to share the good, the bad, and the ugly, basically. And when I share some things I don't like, sometimes I get comments from continental Africans saying, you complaining about this, but in America this. You complaining about this, but America this. Sometimes they feel like because we're in Africa and we're foreigners that we shouldn't complain about anything. And so we are human beings and we are individuals and we have a right to say how we feel about things. We have a right to share our good, bad, and ugly, basically, as long as we're not being like totally disrespectful to the country. But there are things that we don't like that we have to work through. So we share that a lot of times, not to bash or not to talk down on any country because we know where we come from. They treat us like crap. We do know that, but we also do these. We also share because there are people who live in the West, in the diaspora, and this is for continental Africans. If you don't really realize, there are people who live in the West, Afro descendants who live in the West. They want to come back to Africa, from Jamaica, from maybe Brazil, from Canada, Netherlands, but wherever. but not really Brazil, but like from the Western countries. They want to come back to Africa. So they're online looking at different videos for the different countries that they're interested in. So they may have narrowed down 3 countries that they would consider repatriating to or visiting, or they want to live in and do business. So they'll look online for people diaspora from the West who live there, who've been there over extended period of time, and they want their they look at their advice. They look at um, the advice that they give, the things that they share, the good, the things that they like, the things that they don't like, so they can decide which country would closely fit in align with their goals, their things that they want to accomplish when they move to Africa. So that's why it's important for us to share all of our experiences, whether good, bad, indifferent, or whatever. It is important for us as diaspora to share the truth about how we feel, what we experience, because it's close to what the people in the West, how they're used to living. And when they come, they'll probably be, agree with a lot of things that we struggle with. And then it's also good to forewarn people. So when we do this, they can prepare so they'll know what to expect when they come. So we have to tell them there'll be lights out, you may be overcharged, um, you know, different things that we experience that we may not be happy about, but they need to know this so they can better prepare and say, well, since in Tanzania, I've listened to, different diaspora who live there, and they said, A, B, C, and D. So I think I will decide to go to Rwanda, or I'll decide to go to Kenya instead, or say vice versa. I'll go to Ghana. Oh no, I heard this about Ghana, so let me go to Sierra Leone. Oh no, I don't. Maybe I go to Nigeria. Maybe I go to Southern Africa. So they can decide based on what the diaspora says online. So that's why our testimonies are very, very important. Our stories are very important. Our life, how we live here, they watch all that. It's a part of the research that they do when they are interested in coming back to Mama Africa. They do research, and part of the research is looking at diaspora. And that's something that I always recommend is if you are in the West and you live in the West and you're interested in coming back to Mama Africa, I recommend that you connect with the diaspora who live in Africa or who moved to Africa and have been here, a couple of months, 3, 6 months and longer, so you can get more of an accurate idea of the experience of that person in that country, the good, the bad, the indifferent, the ugly, whatever. And so that is how you handle rejection. You're going to experience rejection, and it doesn't matter which country you go to, but you can't be so sensitive to where you fall apart because somebody calls you a foreigner, or somebody calls you, they look at you as a foreigner, they look at you as a Mzungu, they look at you as an Obruni. You can't fall apart. You have to remember why you're here. So every day I could walk outside and somebody could call me Mzungu. Is that going to devastate me? No, because I don't know those people. They don't give me money. They don't pay for, they don't feed me. They don't take care of me. So it does not matter out in the street what people feel about me or what they think about me, because I'm still going to press forward in what I'm doing here. So yeah, I did. Speaking of that, if you don't know, I created a business called Diaspora Connect. I do travel and business consultations, mainly business consultations, because people are really interested in doing business here in Tanzania. Now, as a foreigner, in order for you to buy land, you have to own a business. So I started doing more business consultations so I can share with my brothers and sisters the steps I took to register my business and help them to, if that's something that they want to do, create a business, buy land, whatever. And there, I just share my experience on doing that. So if you're interested in traveling here, visiting here, or doing business here, hit me up at diasporaconnect0@gmail.com. Diasporaconnect0@gmail.com. I do travel and business consultations, primarily business consultations. And so, yes, I am working on a land and building project. Family is coming along very well. And Thank you so much. If you are interested in blessing me, if you are proud of me, I've been here 4.5 years. If you want to bless your sister, I have Cash App, I have PayPal, as well as I'm working on my land and building project. I still have my GoFundMe account. If you want to give towards that project, I would very much appreciate you. I would. But anyway, yeah. So back to dealing with rejection. So be strong, let it bounce off you. Have your breastplate of righteousness. Have your breastplate on. So when those fiery darts, the enemy starts shooting fiery darts at you, a fiery dart could be words as well. Words are very powerful, and they can hurt you, they can heal you, and stuff like that. So words do hurt, but you have to have tough skin. You have to be strong, especially when you're leaving your home country and you come into kind of like a foreign land. I don't really consider Africa as a foreign land in my mind, even though people do see me that way because of the passport. But in my mind, I feel like I'm at home. In Tanzania specifically, I feel like I'm at home when I'm here. Like I don't feel like I'm a foreigner in a foreign land, even though I don't speak the language fluently. However, I speak it enough to get, like, put it this way. I have talked to people and they say, you've been here for 4 years, you should be fluent. A lot of people say that. They say some locals was like, yeah, Mzungu came here and they was here for 6 months and they were speaking. Okay, first of all, I ain't no Mzungu. I'm not them. Secondly, I learned at my own pace. I learned at my own pace. And thirdly, I'm not taking no classes. That's another thing. I'm not paying for no classes. I'm doing stuff. I got money to do other stuff with, not pay for no Swahili classes. So I have managed to be here for 4.5 years. I have managed to get a driver's license. I have managed to create a business. I am in the process of working on a land and build project. Um, I have connected several locals with diaspora from the West to do business. I have consulted with possibly over 1,000 people, probably more than that at this point, uh, here for Tanzania without speaking fluent Swahili. So, that being the case, you can manage. You can, if you are resourceful, like I'm very resourceful. Like I use all the tools. Like I use Google, I use the internet, I use YouTube, I use all kind of apps. Translate app is my best friend. I do study in that in my phone. I have a I think I'm gonna show you guys. I'm gonna show you guys. Well, no, I don't have to do it. In my phone, I have notes in my phone. And in my phone, I keep all my new Swahili words that I learned. And then I'll read over it. I'm supposed to read over it every day. So, because for me, I have the type of, I remember by doing things over. My memory is like that. I have to read something over and over and over to remember. So that's how I remember things. I'm not the type of learner that I can take a course, right, and then just it's kind of like a fast paced course, and I can take it and then I remember everything. No, I have to like study over and over. I have repetition. That's what it is. I learn through repetition. So I write the new words that I learned, all the new words that I don't know by heart. I'll write them in my phone and I'll read them like I need to read them every day. I have the Swahili word and the English word. And so I kind of do that. And when I learn them without, when they're part of my vocabulary, then I'll take them off the list. So that's kind of how I've been teaching myself. And it's been working. I haven't been able to just run like speak the language fluently like that, but I'll say words. So I can say words, like a back and forth. I can do a back and forth. But another thing here in Tanzania that I like is that they don't chat like we do. Like we get together and we're like, yeah, da 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 da. They don't really chat like that. They just really talk about things that they need to talk about. Otherwise, they don't talk a whole lot. So it works here. It works here for me because I'm limited with the flow, fluency. I'm limited in my fluency of the language, but I say enough because that's how they talk. They don't chat. Like if you go to the cafe, I go to a lot of cafes. So if you go to the cafe or you go out to eat, you're not going to really hear people talking. People are quiet. They're eating, or they're on their phone, or they're on their computer, or whatever. They don't really talk a lot. So if you hear chatting, it's usually us from the West chatting, talking. They don't do that. So this is a perfect environment when you're newly learning a language, and you don't know a whole lot. Um, you can manage, and now I've been able to manage, and yeah. So I just want to do this video about how to accept rejection. Just don't take it personal, family. Don't take it personal, even if it is personal. Um, Nobody's putting their hands on you. Nobody, just be wise in your in how you handle it, how you deal with it, because you want to keep in mind that you are a foreigner in a foreign land, a foreigner in another country. I ain't say a foreign land. Africa is our home, but you're a foreigner in another country, and you want to, even if you're upset, you want to make sure you handle it in a decent, respectful way. You can address people without being like irate. Like I do it all the time. If somebody says something I don't like, I'll be like, Kaka, it's usually a man, y'all. It's usually a brother. It's always the women don't really say much, but the men they'll yeah. And I'll be like, Kaka, Kaka. It's the way that, even though I'm not pleased with them, but it's the tone that I use with them. I'm like, Kaka, Miatano. I'm like, Kaka, no, that's too much. Basically, I'm saying it like that. So I don't get upset about it. I know they're trying to get over on me, and it's almost like I start kind of not playing with them, but kind of questioning them. Like, you must think I was born yesterday. It's almost like I don't speak the language fluently, and I'm not from here. But believe me, I have a lot of skills, and I wasn't born yesterday. You see this gray hair? This gray hair means I wasn't born yesterday. So I know a little something. So yeah. So anyway, it's doable, y'all. It's workable. But anyway, if you're interested, hit me up at Diaspora Connect. I just want to do this video. And thank you so much for tuning in. Please do me a favor, like, share, and subscribe. Also, I was looking at my analytics. And out of 3,000 subscribers, thank you so much. About 900 people watch my channel, and they're not subscribed. So that leads me to believe that there are a lot of haters, enemies, and frenemies that's watching too. So to you, I will share with you what I want you to know. You will not know the details, the specific details about my project and what I'm doing and what's going on in my life. You will not know because you're just spying. I spying because you're not subscribing. And I know you're watching. So watch on, watch on. Anyway, let me just go ahead and end this video. Thank you, y'all, for tuning in. I'll do another video next week sometime. And so, yeah, so thank you so much. Thank you for tuning in. So please do me a favor, like, share, and subscribe. Thumbs up, thumbs up. Hit on the notification bell to be notified. So when I do a video or live or you'll be notified. Yeah. So thank you so much. And I will see you guys in the next video. Shalom, salama, peace, family, and see you next video.